Yeah, whoever's inbounding through it. Garrison Matthews intercepts the pass, passes out to Westbrook, who hits the three to win the game. Hello and welcome to the Monday, February 1st edition of the TV on Basketball Podcast with your host, TV. Hope you're all having a fantastic day. Hope you're doing well this fine Monday morning or whenever you listen to this. And thank you for clicking on to watch or listen to today's episode. Before we start, I have to plug my other platforms. Remember to follow at TV on Basketball on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram for updates on the podcast and for other great content. If you're on YouTube, remember to like, share, and subscribe. That would be very much appreciated. And for all the podcast listeners, remember to subscribe and leave a review if you're on Apple. Again, if you leave a review, shoot me a DM. I'll definitely give you a shout out. And as for the Spotify, Anchor, or Podbean listeners, just continue to show your support in any way possible. I really do appreciate you all. I have an awesome show lined up for you today. I'm going to be discussing that crazy ending between the Wizards and Nets yesterday. Going to be talking about Dame and his game winners. Obviously, we're going to have the power rankings here today and my game of the week. So yeah, it's going to be a pretty fun, interesting podcast. There's going to be lots to talk about. I'm just extremely excited to just talk some basketball because we had some pretty damn good basketball over the weekend, and yeah, I think it's going to be some great topics to discuss today. So without further ado, let's get right into this. So like I said, there's a lot to talk about, and we got to start with the Brooklyn Nets and the Washington Wizards. And I could talk about the game. It was a pretty close game throughout. The Wizards finally had their way at least in terms of offensively. We got Russell Westbrook's best game, 40 points, near triple-double. And this game was just a shootout. It was just a shootout through and through. The final score being 149 to 146 in regulation. But that's just how the Brooklyn Nets is. I mean, you just got to keep scoring and scoring, and if you can catch up with them, good for you. That was a big thing here. And, the Washington Wizards pulled off a massive win. And obviously, we could just talk about the win. Obviously, this is very much needed for the Washington Wizards. But the way it transpired was absolutely insane. Let me paint you the scene. 11 seconds left. Kyrie's at the free throw line. He hits a second free throw to extend the Nets' lead to 5 points. Yes, and then mind you, they had, I think, a 7-point lead going to the quarter, and I think they kind of had although the Wizards were playing good offensively, it felt like the Nets were in control. So Kyrie Irving hits the free throw. 11 seconds left. The Wizards, I don't believe they had a timeout if I remember correctly. So Bradley Beal goes up. He dribbles it up. This is basically the play. He dribbles up, pulls up for three, swish. 8 seconds left. They're down by 2. Kevin Durant throws. I think it was Kevin Durant. I think it was either Kevin. I hope it was Kevin Durant, and he threw the inbound pass. Maybe it was Jeff Green. I really hope I'm right, but yeah, whoever's inbounding threw it. Garrison Matthews intercepts the pass, passes out to Westbrook, who hits the three to win the game. Because the Nets couldn't go down to convert a play there, and then they had to foul the Wizards for 2 free throws. But Russell Westbrook hit the game-winning three to down the Brooklyn Nets. And this was, like I said, Russell Westbrook's best game. 40 points, 41 points, 10 rebounds, 8 assists, 16 for 28 shooting. That is an efficient game. And he hit 4 for 7 threes. Best Russ game this season by far. And they were able to take down one of the title favorites in the East. Firstly, that was insane. And I don't know, it was just a choke job. That's all it really was. This is just a massive choke job by the Brooklyn Nets because they had this game. Sure, Bradley Beal hit the three. He hit some crazy three, I think, over 2 guys and swished it. But to be so nonchalant on that pass on the inbound, Garrison Matthews intercepting it, no problem. And the fact that Russell Westbrook took that shot with all the confidence in the world because he had such a good game was just poetic. Was just absolutely poetic. And he helps lead the Washington Wizards to their 4th win of the season. And this was like this is the freaking Russell Westbrook, Bradley Beal show. Both playing extremely well, combining for 78 points on the night. And they got a bit of help from their bench. I mean, Mo Wagner, 17 points off the bench, 13 points for Ish Smith. I mean, they finally were starting to click. Yes, they didn't play a lick of defense either team, but the Wizards were able to pull this off. And Westbrook needed this. Mostly because if you guys, I believe it was Friday. Yeah, I think it was the Friday game with the Wizards when they faced the Atlanta Hawks. Rajon Rondo and Russell Westbrook, both on completely new teams, both are continuing their beef from the bubble. I mean, if you guys remember in the Houston Rockets LA series in the second round, Russell Westbrook and Rondo's, I think it was Rondo's brother. Yeah, I think it was Rondo's brother who was in the bubble with him. Started jawing at each other and stuff like that. And at this point, I think they had to take Rondo's brother out the arena. So they have that built-in beef then, and they just started agitating each other all game. And Rajon Rondo got the best of him. I mean, he was agitating Westbrook, I believe, in the 4th quarter, and Westbrook kind of snapped a little bit, and he got second technical of the game, which led to his ejection. And he hasn't had a great start to the season. I've mentioned that last week when I was talking about Bradley Beal. But this is needed. This is absolutely needed. And what a lot of people failed to remember, especially last year in his time with Houston, was that he started off slow in Houston as well. He definitely started off slow, and it wasn't until we hit January and February where Russell Westbrook started looking like his MVP self. And we had the same concerns with him like early on, like this season as we did last year. We're like, oh, he's not an all-star. James Harden is the clear number one, and Russell Westbrook is just not having is more like hurting the team than helping the team. But I think this could be a great turning point game for Russ. Hopefully, because they absolutely need like the best of Russ to even like be competitive. I mean, it's early in the season. Yes, they have 4 wins, but the East is kind of like so. What's good about them is that at least the East is like kind of weak, especially near the bottom, with 7 and 8 both having 9 wins and under 500. So there's still a chance. It's still early on the season, but they just need to get the ball rolling, and this is definitely the right game to do it, especially with against one of the better teams in the East. As for the Brooklyn Nets, I mean, tough loss. Definitely choked it there. No James Harden in that game, but this was their game to lose, and they lost it. And yeah, just don't be worried about them. I'm not worried about them. I still think they're title contenders. They still got to figure out some kinks here and there, but they will be fine. It was just a crazy ending. If you guys just watch the ending, that was just insane. And just like watch the highlights of this game in general. It was just literally just bucket. Like I said, this felt like the All-Star game with the amount of points these guys were scoring. Let's move on to this. Going from a game winner from Russell Westbrook, we got to go to a game winner from the man himself, Mr. Dame Time, Damian Lillard. Because they faced the Portland Trail Blazers faced the Chicago Bulls last Friday, and they were down. They were down. I mean, the Bulls have done this on multiple occasions to teams where they they get off to these decent leads, and then they kind of give it up. But they're always in it at the end. The Chicago Bulls, and they were up by 2 with I believe 3 or 4 seconds left, and there was a jump ball opportunity. Whether you consider it was a jump ball, I saw the play. It was kind of iffy, but they called a jump ball nonetheless. And what happened was Damian Lillard got his chance at it, drifted to the right wing 3, hit his little sidestep, his little step back, and he gets the game winner over the Chicago Bulls off a crazy jump ball situation. And it dropped the Chicago Bulls to 7-11. And the Blazers are still staying alive at 10-8. I mean, it's Dame time. That's all it really was. I mean, like I said, the jump ball decision was very questionable. But Dame, Dame, when you need him to hit a bucket, I mean, he just delivers. Let's be honest. 44 points this game, 9 assists, 50 for 26 from the field, 8 for 17 on threes. Just another great efficient game for Lillard. And like I said last week, we are expecting performances for like this from Lillard because no CJ, no Nurk, like a lot of the offense falls on Dame. And right now he's delivering, he's keeping them afloat. I don't know how long he's gonna be able to keep up like just carrying this team, but another great win, another good win for the Trailblazers there as they try to like stay alive. But this got me thinking. I mean, obviously, Dame time is a real thing. Fourth quarter, Damian Lillard is like just a very few people in the league where you just like, what I just trust that he's gonna be able to get a shot off and actually get have a good chance of making it. One of the clutchest guys in the league. There's just so many instances of Damian Lillard, just like hitting game winners, hitting clutch shots, insane. And after that game, honestly, after seeing that game winner, I had to go on YouTube and check like just some of his best game winners from his whole career. And he's been doing this since his rookie season. So, yeah, I was like just looking back at all of them and I was like, maybe I should do a top 5 Damian Lillard game winners. And that's what we have here. I have my top 5 Damian Lillard game winners. I'm going to be describing them to you. Obviously, there's been so many in his career. I believe there's been over 10, which is insane. But I narrowed it down to my top 5. It was definitely tough. I think a lot of you, if you guys have watched the NBA for a while, will know what kind of number 1 and 2 is. But the rest is going to bring back some memories. So let's get right into this. Honorable mention to one of his game winners, though, against the LA Lakers. I believe it was the year before they got LeBron, because they still have Brandon Ingram on that team. Or maybe it was the first year LeBron was there, but it was a TNT game. Damian Lillard had Brandon Ingram on him. He had a little step back 3, and beat the Lakers, I believe, with like 1 second left. That was a good game winner, but I have 5 better ones here. Let's go to number 5. And we got to go back to his rookie season for this one. The game winner versus the New Orleans Hornets. Let me paint you the scene. I think it was 5 or 6 seconds left. Dame's on the inbound, passes it to Luke Babbitt. Luke Babbitt hands the ball off to Damian Lillard and just hits a 3 over 2 guys. And this is his rookie season. This is rookie Damian Lillard doing this, and he already has that ice in his veins. He already knows it's Dame time, and he just downed the Pistons not the Pistons, the New Orleans Hornets in that game. Oh man, I mean, like, just thinking about it, I mean, that was like so long ago. The fact that like he had a game winner over like the now New Orleans Pelicans, but back then Hornets. I mean, that just shows like how many he has done, and he's been doing this since his rookie season. And that's just the way he is. He's not afraid of the big moment, and it wasn't like, and he never lost that. I mean, it felt like he had that coming into the league, and he did it. Like he showed us why he was a top 6 pick in the draft with that game winner. Coming at number 4, I got to go with the Bulls game winner here, just because of the uniqueness of the situation. You had the crazy jump ball situation. I believe it was like 5 seconds left as well. The ball finds its way to him, and he does his signature step to the side, step back, whatever you want to call it. And he was able to get the win over the Bulls. It also helps that the Bulls have had so many heartbreakers this year that this is just like another one to pile on. But another good game winner, and a great game behind it as well. 44 points, like I said. I had to put in the top 5 because that was a pretty insane game winner. Coming in at number 3, it's not a 3-point shot this time, but that that overtime win against the Pistons. I believe it was like 2014, 2015, somewhere around there. And it wasn't a 3, but it was still like a crazy, drive to the paint, stop at the mid-range area, turn, swish it for the win. And the reason I put this on the list is because, yes, it's not a 3 and stuff like that, but this one was insane because he had to work his butt off to get that shot. He kind of got the step, but the defender wouldn't leave him. And even when he took that mid-range jumper, I mean, the defender was on him, but he was still able to pull it off. He's had game winners where he's got layups, mid-ranges, 3-pointers, all of the above. and that one against the Pistons was a pretty good one. So at number 3, that OT win versus the Pistons. Now we got 2-1, and like I said, you knew we were going to come down to these two once in the playoffs. But which one do I have at number 2? Which one do I have at number 1? At number 2, let me paint you the scene. 0.7 seconds left. The Blazers are up 3-2 versus the Houston Rockets. I'm not sure if this was Dame's first or second season, but it was 0.7 seconds left. They were up, like I said, up 3-2, and I think they were down in this game. And if the Houston won this, it would have gone to a Game 7. So what he did, he curled off a screen, caught it with 0.7 seconds left, all in one motion, gets a shot off, swishes it to give the Portland Trail Blazers their first playoff series win in 14 years. And that was insane. This is the team when they still had Nick Batum, Wesley Matthews, LaMarcus Aldridge, and Damian Lillard, the kid with the big guts. If you listen to the call, that's what they said. Like, he was able to pull it off, and I still remember to that day. I remember watching it in my living room. Like, that was just an insane shot from such a young guy having the confidence to do it. Honestly, like, he just knows. Like, he just knows it's gonna go in. He shoots it with so much confidence, and it swishes. So nice. I mean, I always remember the call. It's like this. Like, basically, what all the announcer said was like, Lillard, he got the shot off. Lillard, good. Like, it was so crazy, that one. And it had to be number 2, especially with, like, how young he was. Time and space, Dame time was for real even back then. Crowd goes crazy because Portland has finally won. You know, they finally won a playoff series for the first time in forever. So that was definitely a awesome game winner. And they sent the Rockets home with that game, which is crazy, which is absolutely crazy. But number 1, I mean, there's really no other option. If you do not have this at number 1, I don't know what to tell you, because number 1 has to be the one against the Oklahoma City Thunder. 2019, the Thunder were clowning him all series. You saw, like, in the one game that the Thunder won, you see Dennis Schroeder, you see people do, like, mocking the Dame time and stuff like that. Lillard addressed it in an interview as well, and he's like, these guys better watch out. And he had an awesome game in that game. I believe he finished with 51 points. And that three against the Oklahoma City Thunder, I believe I even made I had a podcast the day after that shot happened. Like, honestly, like, firstly, like, he hit it from the logo Lillard. It's a real thing. But he didn't even try to, like, go closer for the 3 ball. I mean, he had one of the best defenders on him in Paul George, and he did a step back from basically half court to get the game winner. That was absolutely insane. And the whole thing that followed that, you know, the saying goodbye to the Oklahoma City Thunder, the shot where his teammates are basically just attacking him, like, in celebration. He looks up to the camera, gives that look to the camera, like, it's just insane. That whole play was insane. That whole game was insane. And the stuff that followed that, I mean, after the season, they traded Paul George. They traded Russell Westbrook. He basically ended that era of the team. Honestly, like, that, it was just a crazy, crazy game. I'll always remember it, like, one of the best game winners I've ever seen, like, live on TV. It was just so good. Damian Lillard, one of the clutchest guys in the league, and that is my top 5 list for his game winners. Disagree, leave it down below. There's so much to choose from, so I cannot wait to see what you guys have to say. Well, let's move on to this. We talked about some game winners. Obviously, there's some great topics, but we gotta talk about a team that has been struggling, and that is the Dallas Mavericks, man. They have not looked like themselves this year. Doncic is still putting up big numbers, a near triple-double, almost scoring 30 points a game. But they're just not resulting to W's. Right now they sit 13th in the West, 8-12 record. They have lost 5 straight. And 2 of those losses were against the Utah Jazz. Yes, they were rolling. But this is without Donovan Mitchell, and they still just got smacked. They got smacked. And now they're on a 5-game losing streak. Doncic has looked frustrated in his interviews, and it just hasn't looked good for the Dallas Mavericks. It looks like just in a lot of these games, like they just look outmatched. I mean, you could look at their offense, and they're pretty average this year, which is a change because last year they had the highest offensive rating in NBA history, and their defense, I mean, is still bad since last year, but at least it's average. But it just looks like they just do not look like themselves. They're near the bottom in 3-point percentages. I mean, they have the worst 3-point percentage in the league. They have one of the worst free throw percentages in the league, and they can't rebound. They can't rebound. Their leading rebounder this season is Luka Doncic at 9.2. I mean, Porzingis is giving you 8, but there's not much going after that. I mean, Cauley-Stein 5.2, and this is an issue. This is an issue, and you could tell like late in games they are trying to put Porzingis at the 5, and I think I talked about this in my podcast before. I don't like Porzingis as a defensive 5, as the anchor of your defense. He's good at swatting shots, and he's athletic as hell, but as a one-on-one defender, he's barbecue chicken. He is very skitty. You could easily bully him. For someone who's 7'3", you can easily bully him in the paint. And the defensive issues with Porzingis, like, dated back to last year, and I talked about it before. He should not be the defensive anchor in your team. Like, play him as a 4, play him as an offensive 4, and they would work better. And the thing is, the Mavericks have been trying to bring in people. I mean, they have Cauley-Stein on their roster. Dwight Powell was supposed to be that, but he's not really that great of a defensive player either. But they just need that defensive anchor, and they just do not have that because Porzingis is just getting killed inside the paint. They can't get any rebounds. They are 28th. Like, it's just looking bad. And at times, like, they can't even really get their offense going, so it just results in Luka just trying to create shots for himself, and that's why they're near the bottom of assists as well. Like, the offense has not looked good compared to last year, and their defense is still pretty bad. I think they really do need to try and, like, at least in the deadline, try and bring in a defensive big to help out Porzingis. He could be a good help defender, but you need just a good interior defender to kind of, like, help mesh with that team, and they just do not have that yet. Luka is going to continue to put up numbers. Right now, he's averaging, 20, 27, 9, and 9. Great numbers. But they just need more from other players. I mean, obviously, they've been hit bad with, like, the health and safety protocols, and that's why they've kind of not had their full roster for most of the season. But they're a better team than this. They're definitely a better team than this. I mean, and they just have been disappointing because a lot of people who watch the game, such as myself, had this team being like a top 6 team in the West, especially with the way they competed with the Clippers last year. You would just think that they would take the next step, and they just haven't. They've been a heavily disappointed team, and we just do not like. They just need. Honestly, this is the type of thing where you have to make a move. You have to make a move. I mean, you thought bringing Josh Richardson would help out your defense a bit, which it has, but the interior defending is still an issue. Doncic can't really do everything like by himself on the offensive end. I mean, it's great to have Porzingis back, but if you're giving it up all up on the other side, you can't get rebounds. It's just not going to work out for you. The Mavericks need to get on track. Their next game is tonight in a back-to-back versus the Phoenix Suns, which they lost to on Saturday. But they need to get back on track. I had Luka as my MVP pick before the season. It's definitely not looking like it's going to happen now. But the Dallas Mavericks just need to get back into the playoff picture. And they need to just give out more effort. Rebounding, a lot of it just has to do with effort, and they just haven't been getting that. So they have some stuff they definitely have to fix. Let's see if they're going to be able to do it. I mean, I trust Luka to be able to carry them to the playoffs eventually. But it's definitely been a rough quarter of the season for the Dallas Mavericks. Before we go into the power rankings, here's some other news and notes from around the league. Rodney McGruder, after the loss from in the Pistons Warriors game, started yapping at some of the players on the Warriors side, which led to Clay saying basically, he's only mad because he's probably going to be out the league soon. Draymond Green kind of echoed those sentiments, and they basically just went at Rodney McGruder And it led to his teammate Wayne Ellington basically clapping back, saying, "Look, that was unprofessional. Roddy McGruder worked hard to get here, and really it was the Warriors who kind of agitated him." So it was a really interesting back and forth. I think that the Warriors did kind of go over the top. I mean, Roddy McGruder has been in the league for a couple years now. Obviously, these fringe NBA players um, always like have to kind of go year by year on the contract. Roddy McGruder is doing that as well. Found a place in Detroit, and Wayne Ellington just setting up for his guy, which is really really good. But yeah, I think the Warriors went a bit over top, maybe. But it was kind of funny, but at the same time, Roddy McGruder, he deserves to be in the league. He plays pretty good defense. He's a pretty good 3-point shooter. But yeah, it was just like an interesting exchange then. Karl Anthony Towns has not come back from his COVID diagnosis yet. It's been over 2 weeks, but I think he's still feeling the effects of it. And he also revealed over the weekend that he also got hit by a car over the summer back in 2020, and he was like, and his girlfriend Jordan Woods had to accompany him at the hospital. And this is just continuing to be like a more details have come out of the rough year that Karl Anthony Towns had that year. I mean, it was absolutely horrible, losing 8 family members to COVID, including his own mom, and then also being revealed that he got hit by a car. I mean, life needs to whatever these factors are getting him just so down. Make it stop. Everyone likes Cat. We want to see him do well, and the fact that he's going through all this kind of makes you sympathize for him for sure. I hope everything is going well with him, especially with COVID. Hopefully he's doing well. Hopefully see him back on the court. But man, take it easy on Cat. Just take it easy, just a little bit, because he doesn't deserve. No one deserves to go through what Cat has to go through back in 2020. And I've seen people in the Instagram comment sections "Oh, he has all this money, he should be fine." Look, they're human just like us. Imagine losing 8 family members. Imagine getting hit by a car. That is a horrible year. I don't care who you are. And let's just hope that Cat goes here. My prayers up to him and his family. Hopefully we get to see him back on the court soon, doing the thing that he loves, which is basketball. Other news from COVID: Jimmy Butler revealed that he didn't have a fun time during his COVID after he got diagnosed by COVID. He talked about how he lost 12 pounds. He basically completely lost his appetite. And he was basically saying how, this thing is real. Let's take it seriously. And I just want to bring this up saying because, look, a lot of people, obviously the vaccine's coming out, so hopefully things get back to normal. But it still just hasn't looked good in terms of the numbers. Hopefully things get better. And it was good to see just Jimmy Butler back on the court on Sunday. I believe it was Sunday or Saturday. 30-point win. 30-point game from him in a win. So, I mean, COVID affects different people. And just because you guys aren't experiencing the same way some other people are doesn't mean it's not real and it's not out there. So, guys, again, wear your mask. Be considerate of other people, because you just don't know how they're gonna be, if they do contract it, how they're gonna react to it. Other news: Iman Shumpert signs with the Brooklyn Nets. Like I said before, they have 5 empty roster spots. They decided to bring in Iman Shumpert for one of them. I think this is a good pickup. I mean, any sort of defensive help is necessary. Bring in Iman Shumpert. He played for the team last year. He also has showed some life with the Kings. I believe it was 1 or 2 years ago. So hopefully he can bring that energy to the Brooklyn Nets, because damn, they need it badly. They need it badly on the defensive end. And the last of these notes, Marcus Smart will miss 2 to 3 weeks due to a grade A calf sprain that he suffered. I believe it was Saturday night. Hopefully he comes back good, but with the way the Celtics are playing, they definitely are going to definitely miss him. I mean, Kemba Walker has struggled ever since he came back from injury. And I'm going to talk about them in the power rankings very shortly, but it has not been kind of a good week for them. So missing Marcus Smart for these next 2 to 3 weeks is definitely going to be rough. Let's move on to the final segments of today's show. Obviously, we have the power rankings. Obviously, we have the game of the week. This week's power rankings there's going to be a big change you're going to see here. And finally, someone has finally dethroned the Lakers in the number 1 spot. So, yeah, we're going to talk about it here. Welcome back to TV's Power Rankings Week 7. Let's get into this. Coming in at number 10, we have the Phoenix Suns coming back into the top 10. They had a 2-1 week. And what I decided, and the reason I decided to put him back on the list at number 10 was that although Devin Booker was injured, they were able to pull out 2 wins, which is absolutely great. One against the Nuggets, and I believe they got a game yesterday versus the, I think it was yesterday. If it wasn't yesterday, it was definitely the day before. But they got a big win over the Dallas Mavericks as well. So, yeah, I mean, they definitely like needed to have those bounce back wins. Obviously, without Devin Booker in their lineup, they're missing a bit of that offense, and they're still able to pull this out. So, good win, good 2 wins for the Phoenix Suns. They're back at number 10. Coming at number 9, we have a newcomer. The first time this year that this team has made it to the top 10 of my power rankings, and I'm talking about the San Antonio Spurs. Definitely one of the surprises of the season. Their young guys have been playing great. DeMar DeRozan, low-key, having a all-star type year. He is playing absolutely fantastic. Right now, the Spurs, although they sit ninth in the West, they still have an 11-9 record, and the 2 wins that they had versus the Celtics and the Nuggets were just massive. And those are 2 playoff teams, and the way that they were able to like pull out those wins was highly impressive. DeRozan this year averaging basically 20 points a game, 7 assists, 5 rebounds. Very good year for him, and he's just getting lots of help from just a lot of people around him. I mean, you got Patty Mills averaging 14 points a game, Aldridge 14. You got DeJounte Murray having a pretty breakout year, 15.7 rebounds, 5 assists. The Spurs have looked good all around, and like I said, this is a new era of the Spurs. And they play young, they play fast, and they're getting wins. 11-9 right now, definitely a surprise start to the season. I have them at number 9. Coming at number 8, I have the Boston Celtics. They had a 1-2 week. The good thing was they had Jason Tatum back, but they still had 2 rough losses. One of them being against the Los Angeles Lakers, where they weren't able to get that game-winning shot, even though like on that crazy last possession, they just weren't able to get it done. They also lost to the Spurs this week as well. Pretty rough week, and they're definitely gonna miss Marcus Smart. Definitely are gonna miss him. If my guy Jeff is listening to this, sorry man, I have your Celtics pretty low this week. But I think they're going to bounce back. I've heard people say like that Jason Tatum is not even a top 25 player, which is absolutely ridiculous. But, rough week for the Celtics, and that's why they have dropped some spots. Coming at number 7, we have the Denver Nuggets. 3-1 week for them. They are sitting comfortably at that number 4th position in the Western Conference. Jokic just looked amazing. I mean, yesterday he had 33 points in the freaking first half. That was absolutely crazy as they end the Utah Jazz's 11-game winning streak. So, big one for the Nuggets there. 3-1 week. Losing Gary Harris yesterday definitely hurt. But, with Michael Porter back and just the way they're kind of just dominating teams at the moment, I mean, it's looking good for the Denver Nuggets, and I think they can definitely turn it around. Like I said last week, buy some stock on them. Coming at number 5, we have the Brooklyn Nets. Although they lost embarrassingly in that last game versus the Washington Wizards, they still had a good week. Their offense is just absolutely crazy. It's just a joy to watch, and they move up to second in the East, which is good because they looked like they were gonna kind of like struggle on the defensive end. But like I said before, they're just gonna outscore teams, and that's what they've been doing. Unfortunately, they couldn't do it yesterday, but a 3-1 week, second in the East. Very good week for them. They're coming in at number 5. I was tempted to put this team at number 3 or 2, but that loss to the Denver Nuggets yesterday really lowered their chances. So at number 4, I have the Utah Jazz. They continued their 11-game win streak throughout most of this week, and if they beat the Nuggets yesterday, I promise you they probably would have been number 3 or 2. But right now, they still look good. I mean, Donovan Mitchell came back over the weekend. They couldn't get the win over the Nuggets, but they still look great. They still look good on the defensive end. I mean, Nikola Jokic just went off. You really can't do much about that if Jokic is playing that well. But they're still a really good team. I decided to keep them from number 4, same as last week. So yeah, Utah Jazz, number 4. Coming in at number 3, we have the Philadelphia 76ers. Another 3-1 week. this could be controversial because I could have put another team here, but they still look good, comfortably number 1 in the East. They're 2.5 games ahead of number 2, and they've looked good. They got their first win this season without Embiid, and they just look like they still have the control of the top of the East. So at number 1, we have the Philadelphia 76ers. Also, big win again for them against the Lakers. Speaking of the Lakers, number 2, the defending champs finally lost the number 1 spot in the power rankings. The Lakers are now at number 2. Obviously, the big reason as to why they dropped this low was because of those back-to-back losses to the 76ers and the Pistons, which caused them to drop. They are now number 3 in the West. They had a good win against the Boston Celtics last week, which kind of like helped them stay afloat. But this is the first time they dropped out of the number 1 spot, and which is crazy because it hasn't been done this year. So, congratulations, who was number 1 this week? But the Lakers finally fall. And at number 1, the first time this season someone has dethroned the Lakers, we have the LA Clippers, 16-5, number 1 in the West. They've looked absolutely fantastic, and the good thing is, no one's talking about them. No one is talking about how good Paul George and Kawhi Leonard have been playing, and that's good. Keep it low key. Keep it like the Raptors did all like when they won the championship in 2019, and then just perform in the playoffs. I mean, it's not going to matter what they do in the regular season unless they replicate in the playoffs. So, yeah, good week for them, especially because they got a couple wins they got a win without Paul George and Kawhi, I believe, against the Miami Heat. So they were able to keep afloat. They're right now to have the best record in the East, and those are in the whole league, number 1 in the West. I have them at number 1. So yeah, those are my top 10. Leave your thoughts down below whether you agree or disagree. I can't wait to hear your thoughts. Shoot me a DM, drop in the comments of this video. I would like to hear your thoughts. And now we gotta go to the final segment of the show, TV's Game of the Week. This Game of the Week today, right now, okay, let me tell you my record first. 5-7. I had the Raptors beating the Kings by more than 6 last Friday, and they lost. Do I agree with that tech call? No, but it is what it is. The Raptors kind of like dug themselves too deep of a hole to get themselves out of. But I'm trying to bounce back. I still need to try and get back to 500. So today's game, we have the Portland Trailblazers versus the Milwaukee Bucks. Milwaukee Bucks are favored by 9.5 points, so they have to win by 10. But I'm going to take the underdog here. I'm going to take the Portland Trailblazers. Damian Lillard hit that game winner on Saturday night. I think that Dame is going to have one of those performances where he's just going to completely take over and like just defeat a really good team in the Bucks. Actually, I don't think, even if they don't, I think it's still going to be a close game. I think Lillard will make it competitive. And just 10 points is a lot. 10 points is just a lot. And I just think the Blazers were going to be able to cover it. So yeah, I mean, that is my game of the week. I'm just hoping I can get back to 500 soon, because it's been kind of a rough year in terms of games of the week so far. But yeah, I think this is where we're gonna end today's episode. Thank you guys for watching or listening. Remember to show love on all the podcast channels. Like, share, and subscribe if you're on YouTube. And remember to follow @TV on Basketball on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram for some great content. Another pod coming out for you this Friday, and I'm gonna give you an update if I'm gonna do a YouTube video on Wednesday. I kind of have a lot of work to do in school, so I might just stick to the podcast on Monday and Friday, but I'll definitely let you know on my socials. Remember, @TV on Basketball on all socials. You can find that in my link tree as well. But yeah, thank you guys for all the support. I just have a lot of great content coming out for you soon. Hopefully soon too, I can tell you my all-star starters. Hopefully I can do that on Friday as well, so be on the lookout for that. And yeah, just lots of NBA content coming out for you very soon. Enjoying watching these games, and I can't wait to see how the rest of the season unfolds. But yeah, again, thank you guys for your support. Hope you all have a fantastic day. Catch you guys either Wednesday or Friday for the next episode. But yeah, I think this is where we're going to end it. Take it easy. Hope you guys have a fantastic day. TV signing out. Take it easy, guys.